Hi, so I am here to do my 38-week update. I'm 38 weeks, 2 days today, so that's crazy. And yeah, things this week. All right, let's see. So I had a doctor's appointment on Monday. Saw my OB or one of the OBs, and things are good. I'm measuring even closer to where I should be. This week I was 36.5 centimeters, so only 1.5 centimeters low, which is actually within the normal range, so it's not even really considered low. So that's good. Baby's heartbeat was good. It was in the 140s, which is a little bit faster than it was last week, but it's, everything's good there. The one issue that we've encountered this week is a few weeks ago I was switched from Lovenox, which is a blood thinner, to heparin, which is another blood thinner. So basically, I don't know if I've really talked about it much. I'm on blood thinners because I have a history of blood clots related to two things. Related to being on combination birth control, which the hormones while you're pregnant are very similar to combination birth control. And I had, and still have, a port-a-cath, which is a central IV line. And so those two things kind of combined together to cause a blood clot about 1.5 years ago. And I was in the hospital, and I was on blood thinners for about 3.5 months after that. And, all of that has gotten better, but now with the pregnancy, I still have the port, and then there's the hormones are very similar to combination birth control. So because of those things, I've had to be on blood thinners for the pregnancy, just to be safe. Like, I would probably be fine without them. I was tested for clotting factors and things like that, and everything was normal. So I don't have any condition necessarily that would make me more predisposed to clots, but because I have the history and because of those things, kind of being on the safe side. So I'm on blood thinners. So I've been on Lovenox, which is an injected blood thinner, since around 13 or 14 weeks. And that's just a once-a-day shot. But it's only it only needs to be once a day because it has a longer half-life. And so later on in the pregnancy, at around 35 or 36 weeks, doctors tend to like to switch you from Lovenox to heparin, which is also injected, but it's done twice a day, or in my case, I'm doing it twice a day. And it can be reversed with vitamin K if it needs to be. So like if you've had a shot too recently and you're in labor and you need an emergency C-section, they can reverse it with the vitamin K. So anyway, so about two weeks ago, or not quite 2 weeks ago, I was switched from the Lovenox to heparin. And initially, like, there didn't seem to be any issues. It was fine. And then all of a sudden, it was like there was this huge struggle for any pharmacies to be able to get it for me. So my pharmacy, which is a Walgreens, couldn't get any more. They thought that they could maybe get more, but then found out that the kind that they could get had a preservative that their research said maybe shouldn't be used in pregnancy, so they weren't necessarily comfortable giving me that kind. And so my OB office, like, this nurse has been amazing. She called around a ton of pharmacies and tried to find places to get the heparin without this preservative. And apparently, the manufacturing plant that makes the preservative-free one has shut down. So, there's none of this type. She was able to find some, enough for me for 2 weeks at the hospital pharmacy, but I wouldn't have been able to get my insurance to cover it because the hospital pharmacy is just for employees of the hospital. So, my insurance was willing to cover some of it, even though it couldn't really be submitted through them. But we were still going to end up having to pay about $150 for 2 weeks worth of it. So anyway, the kind of the end result, so this has been a number of days of stress trying to get this figured out, and I actually did my last shot of what I had this morning. So like we kind of had the clock ticking down. One option was going to be that I just go back on the Lovenox and hope that I don't need an emergency C-section, which is kind of a little bit more risky than I would like, but you know, that would be an option, and that was presented to me as an option rather than switching to the heparin in the first place. Anyway, so the upshot of it is that the OB who's been kind of handling all of this week she has said that the preservative is fine for pregnancy, which is basically the information that I found online. It's not safe to give to newborns and babies, you know, to give directly to them, but that it's perfectly safe for pregnant women to have it, and it's not a risk to the baby. So, after all of this stress and everything, I'm going to end up being able to get it from my local pharmacy, and it's just going to be the kind that they didn't want to give me at first. That's kind of a long-winded explanation of this stressful situation, but it seems resolved. The order has been put into them. I think they're just waiting for the medicine to come in, which hopefully will come in today because I need another shot to do tonight. So, you know, we'll see how this resolves, but it seems like it's going to be okay. So that's good. But that's been kind of the stress of the week. Otherwise, things have been relatively good. The carpal tunnel and pain in my hands and stuff is still an issue, and some days it seems like it's worse than others. Yeah, so like waking up, I kind of in some ways dread going to bed because I know I'm going to wake up with really painful hands and fingers, but it's manageable. And other than that, the other things that I've just been really emotional, which I think I talked about last week. It's just been, you know, I think with everything going on and all the hormones and everything, it's just hard to handle even like the little things that come up, and it just kind of overwhelms me and becomes a lot to handle. So that's been better the last couple of days, and hopefully it'll continue to be better, but there are still kind of these waves of like, oh my god, I can't handle this. But you know, it's there's hormones, and you know, I kind of can't really do a whole lot about it right now. So yeah, so that's pretty much the week. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Not really anything as far as food goes. And yeah, I go back for my next doctor's appointment on Monday, and I'll be 1 day shy of 39 weeks then. So potentially, I may only have 2 more doctor's appointments, which is kind of crazy, but we're getting close. Alright, so I'll show you my belly. Let's see if this is gonna... I'm at the dining room table rather than where I usually am at my couch. So here is 38 weeks, 2 days on the side, in the front, and you can actually see my belly button through my shirt right now. The other side. And the skin up around here is numb, which I think I mentioned last week, and it's the weirdest feeling. But, yep. So that's the belly right now. And I know I keep saying that I plan to do other videos, and I do plan to do them. I just haven't gotten to them. So someone had asked about doing a nursery tour, and I probably will do one. It may not be until he's born, but at some point I will do one. The nursery is mostly put together, but there's still some stuff that needs to be done to it. So it's not quite at that point yet. And yeah, I mean, there are some other ones that may or may not get made, so we'll just see. But in any event, I will see you next week for my 39-week update. Bye.